Our roving reporter, it's so good to have you on the show today.
It's exciting. Happy birthday to Saka Africa, but also happy birthday to you, Thomas.
Well, it's been a long time, but I can't wait. And then, you know what, Lwazi?
Yes,
you hosted the show for many, many years.
I did.
It's such a pleasure to be on the set today. Today we get to drive it together. Your baby, my baby, our baby, and there were so many others. You know, it wasn't just us in the 24 years. Others that contributed.
Yeah, no, there certainly were. And I mean, it's pretty much everyone who's ever been on the show in any capacity we've learned from, we've celebrated with, we've laughed with, we've cried with on some occasions as well. So to be here with you, with everyone else, such a great pleasure.
I can't wait for the show to begin. And now, I don't want to waste time because this 2 hours is going to be a very quick 2 hours. Let's take a look at some of the big guests that have made their way there. You saw Lucia Kalusha Bwalia, the left foot, the greatest. Mufasa is here with Caspanyoresca. And he will be performing later on in the show. The president of the South African Football Association. You might have caught the back there of the president of the Zimbabwean Football Association. There is going to be a massive show. There's some top great legends of African football. And don't forget, at the end of the show, towards the end, we are also, the wise men and wise queen, going to be handing out awards. Awards, special awards. They thought about it. They fought about it. They threw exam pads at each other. They did the most. And then eventually came with some names that they thought in the last 24 years, we just want to say you did well. Find out who those are later on in the program. If you kick us off, let's get going. Let's get into this 24 years.
You know what? It's been 24 years, so I decided to bring in a vibe. It's a night of where we reminisce on the magical moments. We look forward to what's yet to come. But let's reminisce to COVID-19, a song that had Africa on its feet, went over and beyond into the world. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mlambo Zigote.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. All these years later, Itumeleng Banda.
All these years later, is everyone having a good time in here? Oh yes, oh yes. No, let's take you back to 2019, 2020 when the song released. Let us know the impact of African music going over into the world.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I didn't know the song was going to do this beautiful. It was also a shock in me. I've never thought I would be that Nomcebo who can write such a big song that can cross over, like white or black people can dance to it. So for me to have such a big song together with Master KG, honestly, I'm still, even today, grateful and still asking God, would say, hey, God, Ngebela, like you chose me for this song. So yeah, I'm so happy and yeah, I'm grateful also to everyone who has supported us through this journey.
Let us know, when did you know that this is an actual bona fide hit? Tell us.
Honestly, I don't know if you're going to believe me, but when I was driving to the gym, I had I played a song in the car when I was driving to the gym, and then I had a song saying to me, "This is going to be a big song," and I was like, "God, will you visited me? Oh God, please also visit my company." And at that time, I told my husband, everyone that I told at that time, they didn't believe me because they were like, "Ah, no, and then you know," and I understand them because even myself, I'm one of those people. Sometimes in judge about food is maybe they are lying, but after that voice, I now understand with such things they do happen. But again, I didn't know that. When I had that voice, the song was going to be big globally. Yeah. I was maybe thinking that maybe in South Africa alone. And then after that, people were doing a challenge in Ngoma. The rest is history.
I mean, one thing about you, right? You're just like Bafana. You always make a comeback. We are going back to the World Cup. We're back at the AFCON. Yeah. You have a new song. Yes. Let's talk about your comeback.
Lalela ingoma emnandi kakhulu, people are loving it. Ngicabanga ukuthi nje when we're doing rehearsals, you did see people were already dancing to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the song is amazing. People are loving it, and we're still going to push it more and more because you know it's also important to promote the song. And yeah, I'm hoping that whoever that didn't know the song, he or she's going to love it at home.
So then, if you can confirm for us the name of the song, is that something you're willing to share already?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
It's Hemba.
Itemba.
Yes.
Absolutely
We're
wonderful.
saying never lose hope.
There it is.
Yeah, never lose hope.
Never lose hope. And you'll be performing that for us a little later on the show. So then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls across the African continent, it is Soccer Africa 1000. But before we look ahead, let's look all the way back to episode number 1.
Right now, the show has to continue, and we're going to be going to the superpower of African football. We're going to take a look at what the state of the game is in Nigeria.
We never give up hope as a nation, as a people, and as players. You know, as a country, sometimes you go through bad patches, you know, and we were going through that bad patch, and it was, I'm excited that we were able to pull out of it. Not that we didn't know we were not going to qualify. Actually, the problem was within.
In the studio, some surprise guests here to make a special announcement. Stan Matthews from SuperSport United, the manager of SuperSport United, and right next to him is Pizza Mosamani. So, what's the story, guys? Why are you in our studio this evening?
We like to give scoops to Soccer Africa. I wanted to announce that Pizza Mosamani has been installed as the head coach of SuperSport United. It's a special day for Pizza and a special day for the club.
And well, congratulations, Pizza. Well done.
Pizza.
When you were last year, you were the caretaker coach. Now you've been announced the man in charge. Any words from you to say, as far as the way forward is concerned, now that you're the man that everything stops at? I mean, now we look at you when the results go good or bad.
Well, I'm sitting next to the right man here. I've been paying him to get me the job.
Any new signings? Your first signings in your hot seat?
Well, first signings is Tulani Mlambo from Santos. Hopefully, we will sign him, but we're on the process. On just
well, where does he play? What position does he play?
On the left. So we hope Santos will give us the opportunity to sign the player, which they are responding well. I should be saying that the man next to me should be telling me about that.
Some classic moments there. Strap yourselves in. There's going to be so many more classic moments as far as the show is concerned. I mean, look there. Just look at what has happened to the career of Pizza Mosamani. He's gone on to win a CAF Champions League from those early days. And Gasplander, man, you know, things got better through time. Now he is one of the great coaches of African football. And moving on from that, and those little interviews, TK, with us on the set there at the beginning of his coaching career to Al Ali. I mean, come on now.
I think we knew even back then that Pizzo is going to be great. And by the way, we still had a little bit of hair, you and I. Now look at the days. Right? The days have gone by.
I look the same, TK. I don't know. To speak about yourself.
No, I don't.
Speaking of which, TK, very quickly. We did see the president of the South African Football Association, Dr. Danny O'Don. He is present. He's graced us with his presence for our 1000th show celebration today. He was part of the initial, let's reminisce. Let's go back. I used to hear, you didn't tell me too much, but I used to hear, no, I need to go and see Dr. O'Don, we're putting together this new show. He's a founder, contributor, background in the back room.
He did. I think he played a key role in planting the seed, because if you remember, South Africa were isolated from international football for so many years. And when we got back into international football, we got hammering 4-0 from Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and all that. And then there was this thing that as South Africans, we knew nothing about Africa. And I think, we had a lot of discussions with Dr. Jordan, and he was the one who actually planted the seed for us to start a show that will focus on...
Now we know the true story. The seed was planted.
Exactly. So from there I went to SuperSport and presented the proposal, and they accepted. Here we are 24 years later.
The rest is history, right?
The rest is history.
I'm going to go to Ida Peter's side next, because Ida, I looked at you there when you were still young and tender, strong, a goalkeeper that used to do the business. Take me down memory lane. Give me something that when you look back at the show, or a memory of your time that the show has been part of for you, what stands out?
Well, we've had plenty memories. Too many memories. Concerning the show, a lot. But for me, my highlights would be when Nigeria won the AFCON here in South Africa. It was massive for me because, the bantering here, But people don't understand what we go through in this studio.
We didn't like it. No, we didn't like 2013 in Nigeria.
No one liked it, but when we won that trophy, I felt like the king of the jungle. The next day in the studio, nobody could touch me.
It's been a long time, though, since you've been the king. Long time since you've been the king. You still coming?
Yes.
Start with getting to the World Cup. Can you please just get to the World Cup?
We're almost there.
Almost?
Yes.
You see how long the road is?
Yeah, but again, I've always said it. South Africa owes gratitude.
Nothing.
They must be grateful
Absolutely
for what we've done for this great country.
Master,
wish us well. Just please
listen.
Wish us
before
well.
I wish you well, be honest. Nigeria were the ones who wrote to FIFA to say, take 3 points from these people. What was that?
Yes, when a child puts his hand into a bag and takes what is not his.
Oh, then we must still be grateful.
If he's caught.
Even after what you did to us.
If he's caught, he has to pay for it.
So is that what happened?
Yeah,
All right, so let's talk about, why it was. And I took a man who was a goalkeeper, Super Eagles as well, used to be in goal for Morocco Swallows, and we thought he's probably going to be better on television. This is why we did that, because we saw some footage and we saw this goalkeeper, he can talk a lot better. Then he'll be able to make saves. Ida Peter side in goal here. Wilfred Mugai, the legendary Zimbabwean striker. Ida couldn't get near it. But he had instructions. He said he can talk. He can definitely talk. And he's blaming other people for not saving that one there. Ida, that one just flew past you, my friend.
My friend, what you see is what you can catch. You can't catch a win.
Mugai again.
Again, TK. Save.
Good save. Come on, put your hands together.
Well done, Pastor. Well done.
Well done, but this one tapped in.
What happened there?
Same corner,
Your defense let you down.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were too wide. They were not compact.
When you play with very suspicious defense. Very suspicious defense.
Suspicious goalkeeper.
That's what you...
Suspicious goalkeeper.
No, defense was not compact.
What are you saying?
Close down.
Look at the gaps in defense.
Thank you.
Pastor was right.
Whose job is to arrange the defense?
Pastor, accept that you talk better than keeping. That's why you are a pastor.
One of our newest additions is Ashley Nakadzwe, the wise queen of African football. Ashley, you know what? We're not going to expose your age, but 24 years of the show means that when it started, where were you?
When it started, 9/11 had just happened, so I was 9 years old.
Wow.
I was 9 years old when this show had started. Can you imagine? In grade 4.
And did it make an impact on that upbringing?
It really has. It really has, because you get to see these people who are talking about African football in a different way. And then, how super sport, everyone wants to watch international football, but I had that interest in wanting to watch African football. And then in 2012, when Zambia won the Africa Cup of Nations, there's no way I would have not been part of the game. I needed to be part of the people who are in football as well.
And then, our football strategist, what have you got, Sudesh Singh, that you can throw back to us? Like Soccer Africa, maybe the people and individuals part of the show, even how you got involved, because I don't think I was here then. So what is that story?
Thomas, I'm an African first, so this show brings a lot to me, But the two gentlemen sitting here, I had experiences with them. I used to be a chief scout at Sundowns.
I do know that.
International Scouting Division. So there was a game in Nigeria, Kanu's testimonial game. And in that period, we were looking for a coach at Sundowns.
You mean Nwankwo Kanu, right?
Yes.
Because he was just Kanu, but for us,
Nwankwo Kanu.
The legendary Nigerian Arsenal legend, Nwankwo Kanu.
Testimonial game in Lagos.
Yes.
Pastor was part of that. And I was at Sundowns. I was supposed to go during the week, but we were looking for a coach, and the president said, no, stick around and help us find that coach. Eventually, it was a Friday, and I was rushing around to get the visa. I called Pastor in Lagos. He says, go to the embassy in Pretoria. I go into the office of the ambassador. I sit there, they take my passport, make the visa same time. Saturday morning, fly down to Lagos. I missed the match, but
My
I was
name
there.
opened the door.
I was there for the gala dinner.
You have to remind
Say properly, you got there.
I was there for the gala
Pastor from
dinner.
South Africa sent me.
So
properly.
So with Nigeria, I've got a close tie. Then Bratike, CAF Champions League final, Lubumbashi, TP Mazembe and Esperance.
Yeah.
Me and
What year is this
Sundowns went down, Braden similarly.
2000 and...
So, yeah, TP Mazembe hit Esperance 5-0 or 5-1.
5-0.
So we go in a convoy to Moise Katumbi, the chairman's house, his compound.
Yeah.
It was massive. So me and Braden go in one of the vehicles. We go there, we celebrate. We walk into a room with Moise. We see Bratike sitting there. And they said, oh, we didn't even know you were here.
He's a king.
He's sitting back in one of the lounges there.
You know, I've got to say that, you know, when you tell that story, Ida also put me in a room in the longest table I've ever sat at for breakfast. The longest table. I sat with the governor of a Nigerian state and a man who was so passionate about football, Governor Oji Uzukalu. He was the governor of Abia State at the time. And Nyimba was one of the great African football sides at that time. And we had breakfast in TK. I mean, you too close. The table that we were sitting
It was massive.
It was so long. I was like,
it was massive.
My house is not as big as this table. Wow, it was unbelievable. And we got to see some amazing things throughout the time of Soccer Africa. And I know you opened the door as well a little bit there. Small door, not a big door. I know it was massive. It was a massive door. Now, I've got the man that, I think I gave you the name, the Assassin of Abidjan, right?
Sure.
Should I maybe mention that at one time?
It's you. Kicking me so many times.
Let's tell that story. Let's tell that story.
Me
I used to kick you?
all the time.
When?
When I start talking, he will kick me. And there was a table. Under the table, that long table. Exactly. And he will kick me all the time. When I start talking.
It was tough.
Then he will say, Thomas said, let's go and break.
When it's too hot.
When he was... how many times he was suspended? Every week I thought, is Mamadou going to make it to next week? He's not going to get to the show next week. Somebody's going to make a phone call. He's going to be out. And as soon as the camera was up here and on our faces, I'm like, stop, settle down. However, though, Mamadou, one of the things that made you absolutely loved around the continent is whenever there was like a AFCON going on, you would be in that country, you'd be in the hotel. Yeah. And then we'd say, we can't understand why this nation lost. They were looking, what happened? We had all put our money, they were favorites. You would come.
And tell them, these players are womanized.
What were they doing, Mamadou?
Mamadou said, they don't sleep after they don't sleep.
And I would always think to myself, where's Mamadou? And to be honest, you really were unpopular with teams, right? Some players, they didn't like to see you at the hotel.
Of course, they didn't, because they knew that I will expose them.
What were you looking at?
Even the Ivory Coast national team, so many teams.
What are you looking? Look the other way.
Looking, I could see them in action.
What were you doing there? What were you doing there?
I was doing my job. Investigating.
At 2 in the morning.
Why the team lost.
Oh. And then you saw.
I don't want to tell you stories. I have many stories. Why team lost final?
Give me... No, let's not go there.
No, please, let's not.
It's enough.
Yeah.
But people used to love when you say womanizing. That was it. We knew what we were talking about, and it explained a lot of the results we saw. However, Lwazi, I could go on forever here. I want you to talk to me a little bit about the legends that you got there, and also to say thank you to those legends for being part of the journey, and to so many, Lwazi, who have been part of the show. We just couldn't bring everyone onto the program. You've got a strong panel there. Give me a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Indeed, I do have some legends on the African continent, friends of the show, of course, and regular contributors to Soccer Africa down the last 24 years. And it just so works out that they are also three of the most esteemed voices on the African continent within the media space. I've got Mark Gleason, I've got Asha Kumugisha, as well as Jeff Katala. Jeff, Asha, Mark, thank you very much for your time. It is such a great pleasure to be alongside you. Mark, I want to start with you because 24 years, a long time on any platform, across any sort of media space across the world. So first and foremost, what do you feel Soccer Africa has or has had that has made them get all the way to 1,000 episodes?
I think the forum to discuss things, they don't really exist, particularly in the English-speaking media sphere. Certainly before Supersport came along, there was no real forum to discuss issues, and to get into them in depth and to have a little bit of humor as well and a bit of fun, which I think was always the key thing to this show. Was always that it was always going to be a bit of fun, but you were going to learn stuff. It was always going to be interesting. And African football is massive. It's a huge continent. It's so many diverse people, races, religions, etc., etc. I mean, Africa is just so fascinating and so complex. And to have a forum where you can come for an hour once a week and kind of get a bit of an explanation of what's going on in your favorite sports and in your favorite competitions, I think was, it's not genius really, but it really, really worked very, very well. And it was the only one that was out there for the viewers. And it's still really, to be honest with you, the only one that is out there for the viewers to get a fix on African football once a week.
Can you remember, Asha, the first time you came across Soccer Africa, the first time you had an interaction with anyone from Soccer Africa, the first time that you were on Soccer Africa?
Wow. First of all, it's a pleasure to really have been part of the story of Soccer Africa. Looking at that first episode.
let's not, I'm not sure if Thomas is going to...
Yeah.
Was going to come out.
I mean, if you go especially to, English-speaking Africa, everyone on the continent knows who they are. Jeff Katala, Mamadou Gaye, Thomas Mlambo, Thomas Kanaite. These are names that I used to watch and not even dream of being here, because the way that they expressed themselves and brought light to the African game is the reason some of us are here.
Yeah.
And just to be able to tell our stories, because most of our African stories are told by people who don't understand the continent, and Soccer Africa does that, and does it in a very convincing way. I remember the last time I was here, we were talking about the Club World Cup, and Mamadou Gaye, the assassin of Abidjan, was busy saying all the teams will come back after the first round, So that authenticity, to tell the fans, the thoughts of what you have stands out. But I'll say something. In 2019, right before the AFCON in Egypt, Supersport and specifically Soccer Africa toured the continent doing a couple of stories, and TK went to Ghana and interviewed Sami Kufuor, who I felt, what a beautiful story. It was the 20th anniversary of, the UEFA Champions League win with at loss, actually, to Manchester United. And just being there and seeing Thomas Konaite, the respect that he got from Sami Kufuor, the questions that he was asking, and of course, as a diehard Manchester United fan, I was like, yes, let's talk about it. So yeah, it goes all the way, and it's really a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're not alone. Die-hard Manchester United fans, not alone in that. Shajev Katala, once a wise man, always a wise man. And the interesting thing with all of you, as far as the wise men are concerned, is, I guess, from across the continent, you look like these larger-than-life characters, these enigmas that we, aren't really used to, we just see on the screen. However, it isn't necessarily always the case.
Well, with Soccer Africa, we got exposure to the world, especially in Africa. I don't remember that I was watching, when I was in Cameroon on the English side, or I was watching with one of the CRTV journalists, and then he said that I'm very surprised that for a country that came out of apartheid like South Africa, we do have Mark Gleason and the TK. They are so knowledgeable about African soccer. They know so much about football. Where did they learn it from? Actually, I want to ask Mark, how did you get to know all this?
Well, it's very long stories. It can take all night. But TK and I drove many a kilometer across the border in the early days. Before South Africa was competing, we would go across the border and watch games in Botswana, Swaziland, once to Mozambique. I think it was difficult to get it in those days, but when there was a big team coming, when Alaki went once to Bulawayo to play against Highlanders with Peter Glovo. So it was fascinating from the beginning, and you could feel sort of South Africa's freedom was coming, and we would be exposed in a few years to this football. So it was important to go and learn about it. So we have many miles in the car on a Sunday morning driving across the border.
Wow, that's something that was very amazing. Yeah. And when it comes to Central Africa, where I come from, most of them are French-speaking countries, but they got to watch Soccer Africa from time to time. I remember I was in Gabon and I was checking into a hotel, and they say, "It is Jeff Katala, the one on Soccer Africa." And I said, "Yes." And I was given a very nice presidential suit. I couldn't believe, and they gave me one more night for free.
Wow! And
I say, "Wow, thank you very much for Soccer Africa to give me this kind of privilege." And lastly, I spoke to one of the legends from Ghana, the Golden Boy, Abdul Razak, and was very appreciative of the fact that Soccer Africa does talk about the former players from Africa. Yeah. And he said that I thought that we were the forgotten heroes, but because of Soccer Africa, we're having some light, and which is very nice. And I was very emotional when I was speaking to that legend.
Absolutely amazing. And that is indeed the reach of Soccer Africa over the years, and that's exactly why we continue to celebrate this wonderful milestone, 1,000 episodes. So, Itumele Banda, I do understand you've got someone who has got a thing or two to say as well.
Yeah, one thing that I certainly love about celebrations is that you get to bring the whole family together, and that's what we have right here at the arena. And while we get to know about the African countries, we also get to know about the different cultures. Allow me to introduce you to Bafui. Novua. Zabudi. I mean, we're celebrating 1,000 episodes. Let's talk about your historical moments in African football over the past 24 years.
It has been a journey. And I'm very happy today. I see even Jeff is back. He has already developed beds to show that this show is very old. But I remember a show where the wise men combined. There was a time where they were debating. They could not pronounce the word charlatan. I'll never forget that show. That show made me go crazy all along. But I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the invite. I think it's worth traveling 1,000 kilometers to be here tonight. Seeing so many dignitaries and so many fans of Soccer Africa. I can just say happy birthday to us as Soccer Africa.
Well, so much more and so much more people that we get to interact with. As you know, we're celebrating 1,000 episodes of Soccer Africa, and we want you to be part of it. So make sure that you go absolutely nowhere. That is. Next to me is the king of the jungle. He needs no introduction. We need you to roar.
I can't roar. It's such a beautiful intro. Thank you so much.
We're excited to have you here. So honored.
Thank you.
Let's start off with saying that we're celebrating 1,000 episodes. When it comes to African football, though, I know you were wearing a Nigerian shirt the other day.
Yeah, I love the shirt. I think it's the best kit in Africa.
That is true.
Yeah, but I'm still like a Bafana fan, of course. But I just love the shirt. I wish someone would design something like that for us.
Do we have Bafana fans in here?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They don't sound sure.
They're not so sure. Maybe they still. But let's get into the languages when it comes to you traveling the African country, well, the African continent, that is.
Yeah. I have been to about 13 countries in Africa, performing at different places, beautiful culture, beautiful languages that I learned. And I think one of the most interesting things I've learned is that I think Nigeria has 181 dialects throughout their country. So it's a beautiful thing to learn. I don't know why I'm speaking about Nigeria again. People say it's my favorite. Yeah.
Maybe. But as you know, you're from Northwest. I'm from Northwest. Deen is our thing.
Yes.
When traveling the African continent, you don't necessarily find Deen.
Yes.
So what have you become accustomed to that you really like?
I hate the fact that I'm going to say this, but then Nigerian food is my favorite still. I like plantain and jollof rice. I know there's a debate between what's better, Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof, and I think Nigerian jollof is the best still.
The Ghanaians are not going to be so happy.
But I don't put that over South African food.
Ting.
Yes. Not ting. I love...
How do they ting?
Okay, ting series. Yeah, like the mono. Not, I don't like the other one. I like series.
Yes.
Yeah.
You talk about Bomagogo.
Yeah.
We're going back to your home province.
Yes.
We want to invite everyone there. Let's tell...
It's not my home province. It's my manager's home province. Oh. It's like a homecoming.
Okay, let's tell Africa why they must come to South Africa because we're filling up South Africa at this point.
Yeah, there's a beautiful place called Bloemfontein that we'll be filling up a stadium in on the 6th of December. I've been doing this for a few years. It's 10 years since I did my first fill up. Yeah. So this year is it's very special. So make sure you go get your tickets at Web Tickets. It's in a month or so. Make sure that you're out there. It's going to be a beautiful one. We actually have a soccer match on the 22nd of November in Bloemfontein, where I'm going to be playing against Bachukada, which is a TV radio presenter. He's got his team, and I'm playing with mine as well. I'm actually a soccer player as well.
I've seen you play at the celebrity games.
Yes.
Let's talk about your love for football in general.
I thought I was going to be a professional football player, but it didn't work out.
We all think that, don't we?
I really thought I was going to make it. I made it to Transnet under 15 at some point. And
then, man.
Yeah, and then it never worked. In fact, no one from my neighborhood ever played professional. Everyone ended up like maybe B-side or something, which is kind of sad, but yeah.
Now I want people to stay on their seats. I want them to watch the show until the end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the music that you're bringing through. This is a taste to Africa as to what we're doing in Bloemfontein.
Yes, it's a song called Kushobani, which is also kind of sampled from Amapiano, which is a global sensation. And it's about to reach 10 million views on YouTube. It's the biggest hip-hop song of the year. I'm very proud of it. And it's also transcended amongst a lot of African countries. So I'm going to be bringing it onto the stage, try bring the energy. And man.
It's going to be exciting. We spoke about the beauty of language. Don't ask us what that means, but we want you to stick around and celebrate with us. The celebrations do continue, and I'd say it's also a happy family here in the arena. So Thomas, who do you have? You probably have head of house here.
I just wish that I was Mufasa's agent. I could have turned him into a big football star, man. Wow, look at the physique. Now, right next to me here, Jonathan, right? We spoke a little bit. Jonathan, tell me a little about you. Friend of the show?
I'm a very, very big fan of the show. Since 2014, I started watching the show, and yeah.
Where's home?
I'm from DRC.
And you're here today?
Yes. I actually live here in South Africa, but I'm from DRC. Yeah.
What do you like about the show over there? What, you say you've been watching since 2014, so for the last 10 years, what do you like?
To bring all the African countries together, the football. So yeah, I think that's it.
All right, and you know what? You also get to sit right next to 1988's African Footballer of the Year. You get to sit right next to a man who in 1996 was named the 12th best footballer in the world by FIFA, an all-time leading goal scorer in Zambian football, and one of only 4 players, guys, one of only 4 players to have ever scored at 6 Africa Cup of Nations. Only 4 people have done it. This left foot here, Kalusha Bwalia. Lucia. Oh, and I could also mention a former president of the Football Association of Zambia, but that's politics. The football is what we're about. I want to talk to you about this because we're going to talk a little bit shortly about the great moments, Lucia, the great moments that, of all African football. And I can tell you that in my memory, because I was there, you represent one of the great moments I was present for. Not watching on TV, not seeing it, but I was there. I don't know. Oh, you got so many. But, Kalusha, I'm talking the game against Liberia, World Cup qualifier. and you are the player coach. Now I see you on the field. How did you get on the field? You were coaching. Now you're on the field.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you so much to Soccer Africa. If you talk about that moment, because we had a young team, and then when we started, Kenneth Mwene is sitting here. He was there on the bench, and then my assistant coach Ben Bamputile always used to say, because we used to have like 9 players, 10 players, 12 players, and so I would play a little bit with the players, but we had difficulty scoring.
Yeah.
Because the players that we had difficulty scoring. So I said, no, why don't you be on the bench so that when we have a difficulty in scoring, maybe you can go in the last 10 minutes. So I said, but I've done my duty, so it will be difficult. But in this moment, it came to pass.
You put yourself on.
Yes.
The player coach says, I've seen enough, guys. I've seen enough. Yeah. And I've got to tell you, I remember this moment so much because my skin even gets like goosebumps. Because he stands up, Kalusha, and he unzips the tracksuit, and the entire national stadium in Lusaka, you hear, Lusha, 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 Lusha. And then the guy comes on, there's a free kick, he takes it, scores, and the place goes wild. In a World Cup qualifier, Lusha, for me, one of the great moments. I know people were not there for it, but I was there, and I will never forget that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're building a new team. I think when we started, I was coach of the national team in 2003. And so we started to build 2004. We took the players that we took 2004, and then 2005, of course, and the World Cup for 2006. And we're in a group with Mali and Senegal, and then we had to play against Liberia, and so this is what happened. So it was.
By the way, that's like a 20-year anniversary. That goal was in 2004 September. 2004. So it's a 20-year anniversary of that goal.
Absolutely,
Lucia.
Yeah.
Wow. And at the time, Kalusha Bwalya was 41 years of age, and at that time, he was the 3rd oldest player ever to score in an international football match. I don't know if you knew that, Kalusha.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, now you see, Anyway, Loazi, I could go on forever. I'm going to come back that side because there's some other great moments we need to talk. That was just one that I'll never forget that I was present for.
Yeah, one of many that Kalusha Bwalya, of course, has contributed to over the years. But I'm going to take this opportunity and find out from Mark, Asha, as well as Jeff, exactly what has stood out for them over the last 24 years. Just the 24 years. I know, Asha, there's plenty for you to try and remember, but is there one moment on the African continent that in the last, I'd say, 24 years does stand out for you?
I think Mark should go first.
Ladies first.
I think he might have to go even further.
No, he should go first.
Well, you're not giving us much scope in...
I know.
So what are we looking at, 2001 onwards?
Yeah.
It's got to be Morocco getting to the semi-finals in Qatar. That was unbelievable.
Some might say that's too recent.
That is too recent, but I mean, that was a big pivotal moment for African football. From a personal perspective, I think 2010, the fact that we hosted the World Cup on the African continent, and just that first game and sitting in that stadium, that calabash, it had been recently opened. They had a Nedbank Cup final a few weeks before. The opening ceremony with the tantalizing prospect of Bafana taking to the pitch in a few minutes' time against Mexico. I mean, and I live in Cape Town, so I drove in my car all the way up for the 6 or 7 weeks before, and then for the tournament itself. So just the pure pleasure of driving in the car and thinking, I'm actually driving to the World Cup. I mean, it's bizarre, but I mean, 2010, I think, in South African football history is the pinnacle.
Yep.
And hopefully Africa will have more pinnacles like it, because you've got Morocco coming up. But that's, I think, in our lifetime, what an achievement for this country to put that together.
Absolutely wonderful. Also in varsity, so I'm not going to say too much about how old I was back then, but I don't know if you need a bit more time, Asha, or...
Yes, no, I'm good now.
You're good now?
I'm good now, thanks to Matt. So I'll answer with two questions, two answers. The World Cup, Qatar, 2022.
Yeah.
I was in the thick of things in Doha, and after Morocco played their first game, I felt like they can go very far. Really? And I remember explaining to everyone that, you know what, I'm actually thinking they can go as far as, semifinals and even maybe make it to the final. Why? Because when you look at the composition of their players, Ashraf Hakimi was born in Madrid. The first language he spoke was Spanish and not even Arabic, Darija, which is the Moroccan dialect.
Yeah.
So really to see and be in the stadium, particularly for that game against France, against Portugal, the noise, the fans, they're coming in thousands from Casablanca, from across Morocco, Moroccans who had never been to Morocco and were leaving and were born and raised in Europe, being so proud to be in Qatar and seeing their national team thrive the way it did for me. I think that stood out. But then, my second answer is the last AFCON edition in Cote d'Ivoire, in what most of our people will call Ivory Coast. To see the manner in which, number one, the country prepared for that AFCON. They had delegations of people going to Qatar, to the World Cup, going to the last AFCON in Cameroon. And that's how we saw off the field, the preparations that CAF, and now we could really see the impact of Dr. Patrice Matsope as CAF president, and really everything that went behind the scenes that people don't see, that CAF had a team of people staying in Cote d'Ivoire for 1 year to make sure that every single detail is up to, the good level that we want. You saw the pitches, the grass. No one was complaining anymore about the grass, in Cote d'Ivoire. And now the team, the elephants, coming from nothing. They were buried until Morocco beat Zambia to help them, qualify. And then the way they played against Senegal, the reigning champions, they were one of the favorite teams to win that tournament. The way they came back against Mali, the way that they played, against the DRC, sorry, Jeff. And then the way they came back again against, Nigeria in the final. And for Sebastian Haller, of course, who had just survived cancer, to, score that goal in the final. It was just the most beautiful AFCON I have ever experienced. And I think that Morocco has to do so much to match even what Cote d'Ivoire had.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly that. Say good luck to Morocco in trying to match exactly what did play out over in Cote d'Ivoire just a couple of years ago. Jeff Katala?
Well, there are too many. If I can start, I will say that the 2010, actually, the World Cup, because when the vote took place in Switzerland, I was one of the people on the panel. We covered it here on SuperSport, and we jumped. And after that, I went straight to Yovo to meet the Congolese community, Cameroonian community, Ivorian community, and we were celebrating. And it was huge. For the very first time that we had a World Cup hosted in Africa, and South Africa had that privilege of representing the whole of Africa. And the second one, if I may say, and that was huge. I remember it was a DRC against South Africa. We played, it was the qualifying game for the AFCON, and I think we played it in Durban. We drew 2-2. And before
with Claude Leroy was the coach.
Claude Leroy was the coach. But before the team went to Durban, I went to see the team, and I told them that, guys, you're going to play South Africa. But Shabani Nonda, who was the captain, asked me, but you with Congolese, why are you saying that you're going to play South Africa? He said, well, between DRC and South Africa, I cannot choose. Because it is like you asking me to choose between my mom and my father. I will not do that. So please, don't beat them. And they laughed, and they said that we will try, we'll see what we'll do. And we drew that game, 2-2. And the last one, it was Cape Verde after AFCON 2013. It was the very first time that I see a team with coming from a country with less than 1 million people, having and eliminating the host, actually South Africa, in the I think it was a quarterfinal that Cape Verde beat South Africa, and they said, "Wow, the game is evolving very well on the continent. We should keep up with this momentum."
And just a bit more than what, 10 years later, they are now all the way at the World Cup for 2026. The new shots, you were there, you saw it unfold right in front of your eyes. We are going to continue with then looking back at some of the moments that have headlined the last 24 years on the African continent. More of that and so much more after this.
Oh, some great memories there being shared by the panel with Rwazi on our 1000th episode celebration show of Soccer Africa. And still so much more to come. Remember, there are awards coming up at the end where the wise men will tell you who they think is the best in certain categories. And that was a big fight. Eventually, we came to some names for you. But let's throw back a little bit. And 2010 has come up a lot in terms of the greatest memories of the last 24 years of football on the African continent. The World Cup coming to South Africa, coming to Africa for the very first time. And I had the privilege of being a little bit of a close-up witness of that process. There was the bid for the 2010 World Cup. I did a show back in the day in 2003, 2004 called Bid Diaries, and I had the opportunity to travel with Dr. Danny O'Don as he went to see the 24 executive members. Went there, every single one, to shake their hands. And as a small little journalist, I was there right in the corner trying to make some notes and get some interviews. This was show one of Bid Diaries, taking you way, way back into the process that brought us 2010. Welcome to all our viewers across Africa to the first of our World Cup bid shows. 2010 is coming to Africa. South Africa wants to host that World Cup. Do you think South Africa should be the country to host it?
Yeah, we discuss a lot of that. I am a part of the committee of sport of FIFA. Then I was the one who always, fight because we have a World Cup, many times in Europe and South America, but in Africa we didn't have a World Cup.
Africa deserves to organize the World Cup for reasons of a very special mechanism. It did not work for 2006.
I think the English team can assist us in increasing the share of our voice during the campaign. You must understand the English team, the media they generate all over the world. But more importantly, to make sure that those people in Europe who got 8 votes will be able to pay attention on the infrastructure, the hospitality, and also the people of South Africa.
Bid chairman Ivan Khoza and CEO of the bid company, Danny O'Don, have a really hard and tough year ahead of them trying to solicit those votes to bring the World Cup to South Africa in 2010. But they're off to a flying start. The last month has been incredible. The game against Jamaica in Cape Town was wonderful. The match against England was, once again, a terrific occasion for football. And this trip to Madrid has shown exactly what needs to be done if you need to bring that World Cup to Africa. Wow, the shirt was too big. That's what I could see there. And there are great opportunities to speak to some great people. Dr. O'Don, I'll never forget that interview with Sepp Blatter. Stopping him in the road there and saying, listen, I need to speak to you. They sent me all the way here to just get a word from you. And he eventually did the interview. You did that. And you did that like for a whole year. You traveled the entire world going to see all those FIFA executive members. And I don't think many people, especially the youngster today, know the job that you and Dr. Ivan Khoza did when it came to the bid organizing committee and bringing that World Cup to Africa.
Well, we ran 2 bids.
The failed one?
The failed one. The first one, 2006, and then immediately 2010. That took 11 years of my life. Wow. So I spent 11 years. I traveled about 130 different countries, speaking to each one. So it gave me good insight in development, every single country. So yes, it was an extraordinary experience. And we also watch international matches.
Yeah.
Paraguay versus Brazil.
TK!
we traveled with the Brazilian team.
Yeah.
To Paraguay.
I told you.
The Brazilian player.
Yes.
Chike was on that trip.
Yes, he was on the trip, coming back with the Brazilian team.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing to see the Brazilian players. They were all sitting in cattle class.
Economy,
all of them.
You see, Mama,
Ronaldo, all of them. And Chike was there with them. I think you still have a jersey that they all
I do.
signed.
You organized it with the president.
What happened?
President of the Brazilian.
What happened?
No, I had the jersey. And
a blank jersey, just a blank.
Okay.
You had just a blank fan jersey.
No, the Brazilian jersey.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just a jersey for Brazil.
Just a jersey for Brazil, and they signed it for me. But before that, before we went to the stadium, remember we stayed at the same hotel with them. And when they came out of the hotel, you know, the fans were asking for autographs. And they mistook me for a Brazilian. And they also asked me to sign, you know, autographs.
You look like a Brazilian player.
What was your name? Tommaso. I signed Tommaso. That's what I did. But of course, the upshot of it was that in the same plane, Dr. Jordan spoke to the president of Brazil and said, can they sign jerseys for my compatriot here? And they signed. I have that jersey.
Dr. Jordan, you know, one of the stories I'll never forget is when we almost like we risked our lives. You as well were at the very front of when we went and you had to go and see Dr. Chung in Korea. SARS was at its absolute height. Like that was the COVID-19 of then, and that part of Asia, it was bad. You got off the plane, they wanted your temperature. They wanted to check, did you have SARS? Are you going to be in quarantine? There was a movie. You got there, and I'll never forget, you literally didn't even present to Dr. Chung. You presented to his second in charge, shook hands, and then later he came and saw you shook your hand and then said, I'm leaving. I was like, Dr. Jordan, you came all this way to Korea. And the guy didn't even say hi. Like he just said hi to you after someone else had briefed him. And I'll never forget your words. You said, I've got to meet everybody. I've got to show them. So I've got to come. I can't just, I know. It was amazing then.
Yeah, but in the end, they voted for us.
So that actually made a difference?
Yeah, they voted for us. And yes, personal contact makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You can write letters, you can send gifts, you can do whatever. But personal contact.
Were there gifts?
Right?
What are you asking?
No, there was no gift.
T-shirts and caps.
No, I must.
T-shirts and caps. What's wrong?
I'm just repeating what he said you can.
There was a strict list of do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
You could not give gifts. But, you know, you had people who were moved by the story of South Africa. And Mandela, of course.
That's the story I wanted to
one of the big issues. Mandela, we want to do it for Mandela.
Yeah. How hard was it to get him to be part of it? Because he was critical in the end. Udata Nelson Mandela was absolutely critical. And, you know, one day we need to do a documentary, Dr. Jordan, because it wasn't easy to get him to be part of some of the critical parts, especially his age and his health.
Madiba was a South African. He was a patriot. And when it comes to South Africa's interest, you don't have to convince Madiba. He traveled with us to Trinidad and Tobago.
Massive trip, that one.
That was one of the big ticks. That gave us a big tick.
Why? What was important about Tata going to Trinidad and Tobago that was key
it was
in
now,
the World Cup?
It was now consolidation time. So we had to go, and there was a big event there. So all of the executive of CONCACAF was there. And Madiba was there, and Tokyo went with us. And in the morning, they told us there's a big rally, and all the players from the people from the island went to see Madiba. They want to see Madiba. And Madiba was tired. So they said, look, Madiba cannot go out in the open, and it was cold. He must just stay at home. So now we had a problem, because the people are waiting for Madiba. So then we said to Tokyo, you must go and speak So Tokyo took the podium, and he then mimics Madiba and spoke. And no, the people loved him and celebrated. And when they left the stadium, they all shouted, Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela, and singing in the. So no, it was huge.
I'll also never forget, I didn't get to see all that because I was on the island next door with the Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
Yeah.
Because that was Plan B.
Yes.
Plan B was if Tata doesn't make it to Trinidad and Tobago, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu with little me were there on the island of Grenada, like a 1 minute flight, and we could be called to come and be substitution.
Wow. Yeah. No, we had to talk to the Arch also, because the Arch, he says, well, I'm the small Mandela. If you can't get Mandela, I must go. So he went there.
And he flew all the way to Grenada.
He flew. He was in the United States. So we had to get a special jet for him, private jet, to fly him to Grenada. Now, over that weekend, there was a hurricane, and I see there's another hurricane going there. The hurricane. And you know how the hurricane, first time in my life I experienced a hurricane. You must sit there and you see, they show you on the TV how the hurricane comes. It takes huge, massive ships out of the water and plunges them onto the side.
Wow.
And as the thing comes towards the island, the presenter said, well, it's now time that we must switch off. And they say, may God protect you. All the ambulances and the fire engines and everything is in place. We have done what we must do to do precautions. We now leave it in the hands of God.
Wow.
And the TV went off. Now you sit in the room, there's nothing on the TV. You just sit.
You don't know what's coming.
You don't know where this thing is going because you just sitting. and we are sitting. Hey.
And the wind? You can hear the wind.
The wind, you hear. The building is shut.
Yeah.
Hey, I must try and sleep now. The next day, the hurricane swerved and missed Trinidad. And those people believe. People in Trinidad, they say, that's why it's Trinidad, it's God's island this. They said, no, God will protect you. And that's what they said. May God protect all of us. A good night. And the next day, we saw they missed the island and went on to Jamaica. And yeah, it was scary.
And Tata was able to do what Tata does, and the World Cup was able to come. Guys, you're just quiet, yeah? I mean, you're mesmerized by these stories.
Oh, beautiful.
Plus, you've done all of those things, but what stands out for you? What do you think over the period when you've been involved in football? Your personal, what satisfies you the best?
In the last 24 years, Doc?
Yeah.
Stand out. It can be a football, it can be a goal, it can be anything.
It's the people. You know, when you see South Africans coming and celebrating, both the tears when we lost 2006 and the joy and celebration when Blatter announced South Africa, and the explosion and the excitement of our people in the country, that is one of the greatest moments for me.
But
I can go on with these stories. I mean, I was in that room, and when that envelope came out...
it's not just South Africa, it's all about celebrating.
Everybody.
Africa.
Yeah.
Africa went wild. We were so excited that South Africa had finally gotten the right, or Africa, to host that. But again, I remember the picture I see, you know, they showed your face the year we did not win it.
No.
You know, it was sad. We all looked at you guys on that podium. It was terrible.
Mamadou?
Did Mamadou also cry in 2006 and celebrate in 2010?
Of course, we were all here. We were all involved.
Oh, you were in South Africa at the time?
We were all involved in the... Yes, you know very well.
You were involved?
Of course.
What was your involvement?
Let me tell you one thing, for example, a small anecdote. Emmanuel Maradas, who is one of the legend of journalism in Africa, I was out of the country. He was in South Africa for 2 weeks trying to get hold of Danny, of Chairman Ivan Kosa. Nobody will pick his phone or even see him. And he left a message on my cell phone. And I said, okay, I am coming back next week to South Africa. When I came, he told me, we met. He said, but Mamadou, I don't understand. I've been here for 2 weeks. I cannot see anybody.
Why does he need to see them?
I want to see them because I am an African and I want to support and help them for the bid. I said, who do you want to see? He said, Chairman Ivan Kosa. I said, okay. Tomorrow morning, I will come 5 a.m.
But Emmanuel Maradas, I mean, he's just a journalist, right? So why should anyone see him?
Everybody knows the connection of Emmanuel Maradas with FIFA, with Blatter. Very well connected at that time. Then I told him, 5 a.m., I will come to your hotel and pick you up. When I called his room at 5 a.m., he was sleeping. He said, but Mamadou, can we go to Soweto at 5 a.m.? I said, do you want to see the man?
And yes, there were so many small little, role players, Dr.
Did Mamadou tell you? He was a media officer for Bafana in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou. AFCON. We made it to the final. I don't want him to tell the story that he tells inside the camp, because he must not talk about those stories. Because that's not the story of a media officer.
Which story are you talking about, Dr. Yoda?
Benny's story.
No, I can't tell you the story.
Oh, there's another one.
There's another story.
Mamadou.
No, but you started, Doctor.
Yeah, you started.
No, he was staying where the team was staying.
Yeah.
I was staying at the hotel. They were staying they built a complex.
Yeah.
So they were staying there. So then he came to tell me, no, this and this and this. I said, Mamadou, we are playing a final. We don't come with those stories. And when he told me the story, I said, hey, man, we did not employ you to be a detective. And you were
So you're exposing the players. You're exposing them. Tell the truth.
What is happening?
You're exposing the players. What did you see?
I told you I cannot talk why so many African countries lost the final.
Womanizing.
Of course.
Please take over, Dr. Yoda. Thank you very much for sharing some of those stories. The truth is coming out on show 1000. It took so long to get to the real stories. Loizi standing by with his panel. Loizi, please.
employ him as a media officer.
Never. We'll never employ him as a media officer. Loizi.
Thank you very much to the president of the South African Football Association for properly revealing to us exactly who Mamadou Gay is and has been, particularly for South Africa as well. So what we are going to do then is perhaps start to look ahead to what's still to come on the African continent. And by that I mean just the next couple of months. In fact, the countdown has indeed started when it comes to AFCON 2025. And so then, Morocco, all eyes are on you, and we are going to get a bit of some insights as to exactly what's happening out in Morocco ahead of AFCON 2025. And I've got the great pleasure to speak to Jalal Abounoua, who is an analyst out in Morocco. And Jalal, thank you very much for joining me. First and foremost, it seems as if the public out in Morocco are indeed braced for what should be a wonderful couple of weeks for African nations in Morocco. If reports are indeed to be believed, as far as the tickets are concerned for the home nation, all sold out.
Yeah, thank you so much first for the invitation, and I'm happy to be in this special, really special episode in this one of the best programs, football programs in African continent. So concerning your question, it's true that here in Morocco, all Moroccans are waiting for the Africa Cup of Nations, you know, and even tickets mainly for the Moroccan national team, they were sold out in one day. It's impossible to book a ticket. And also, the games for I also tickets for games of other national teams. I understand personally that so many people are coming to Morocco. So many Africans living abroad are booking their tickets for the games in the different cities, in 6 cities, including the group of South Africa in Marrakesh, and then another game maybe in Agadir. So many Africans are booking their tickets, and Moroccan authorities are trying hard to get prepared for this big event, and why not to make it one of the best tournaments so far. Several cities are getting ready, especially Marrakesh and Agadir. So mainly in Rabat, about 4 stadiums in Rabat were renovated to be able to host the fans and the teams coming to Morocco. Also the infrastructures in terms of hotels, in terms of transport, in terms of roads and highways, everything is getting now ready. Day and night, Moroccan authorities are trying hard to make the country ready for this big event. And you were talking about during the World Cup in South Africa. Yes, now Morocco wants to do another World Cup like in South Africa in 2030. So this preparation now, it's both for the Africa Cup of Nations and also for the World Cup.
Okay, with everything that you just said then, Jalal, is it fair to say that as far as the national team is concerned, anything less than an appearance in the final would be seen as a failure by Moroccans?
But we hope we don't meet South Africa, because you eliminated us in the last. You know, in Morocco, when you see the South Africa team, everybody wants now to play against South Africa. Anyway, you know, to host the Africa Cup here in your country, and you have only one title, and it's since 1976. We haven't been able to win the title. We reached the final in 2004 in Tunisia, and we lost. I think here in Morocco there is one sentence. It's time for Morocco to be again.
Jalal Benoit, thank you ever so much for your time. We certainly do appreciate it. And as you've heard, as far as the public is concerned anyway, they are as confident as a home nation should be, particularly Mark Gleeson, if they're ranked first on the African continent.
Yes, and they are the hot favourites, but I must add, they've been the hot favourites for the 2021, for the 2019, the 2017. I mean, they have been the team to beat all along, and unfortunately for them, they've been beaten. And the burden of expectation on the host nation, I mean, we saw, Usher eloquently described the whole Ivorian scenario, and they kind of pulled the fat out of the fire, but I mean, they were this close to elimination. They needed third-party help to get through to the next round. So I think you underestimate that burden of expectation, particularly on this Moroccan side. Semi-finalists of the World Cup, number 1 in Africa. They haven't lost a qualifying game. They just equaled or broken the world record for the most number of wins in a row, beat Spain's record from when they were here for the Confederations Cup in 2009. So everything is going right for them. Everything is aligned. They cannot fail, and I think that's going to be a very heavy burden, and that's going to be an opportunity for someone else like us to come in and steal the trophy.
And the interesting thing is, when it comes to football across any level, particularly at elite level, when everything, as Mark has just mentioned, does align like that, the ending isn't as pretty as perhaps the hosts would like it to be.
Yes, he put it so rightly, because we do remember in 2012 with the Senegal at the AFCON 2012. Well, they had a plethora of international players. You can name them. They're all superstars. But they failed, actually, to get out of the group stage. And that, especially when you were a star-started team, you have a lot of expectation on you, and the emotions run very high, and you're likely to fail. Yeah, but for Morocco, it is about time. After reaching the semi-final for the very first time, because Morocco has customers actually from Africa to be the first one to reach a certain stage in terms of football at the major tournament. In '86, they were the first African country to qualify for the next stage, and so they were also the first actually to qualify for the semi-final, and for the semi-final of the World Cup. But we do have now South Africa, and congratulations to South Africa, because it is the very first country in Africa to qualify with local-based players, and for that, good chapeau.
Thank you very much. We certainly do appreciate that. Very quickly, Asha, Morocco, as far as the next favourites, who do you think belongs to that particular group?
I think that it's very clear that Morocco has always struggled when the AFCON is hosted south of their country, and now they're going to play at home. And as a matter of fact, they're going to be based in Mamoura, which is where their National Technical Center is. All their games are going to be played in the iconic Olympic Stadium. That is going to be good motivation for them. We saw what Walid Regragui, the coach, was able to do in Qatar at the World Cup, bring their families close. They were staying in the same hotel, in Doha, and that sort of gave them a good feel. But also now they have more pressure, Mark, because the under-20s won the World Cup. The women reached the WAFCON final twice for a country that almost had no women's football 5 years ago. And then also, obviously, the under-17s are favorites, to go far in Qatar in just a couple of days here.
They won the Chan as well.
And they won the Chan in Nairobi. So there's a lot of good feel around the tournament, and I think people should not underestimate the Atlas Lions when they play at home.
Okay, so as we've just mentioned, there is so much that Morocco is going to be looking forward to, both on and off the football pitch when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations, the World of Champions. We'll be there for all of that. We are going to take a short breather. In doing so, though, we hand over to Mlambo, and she's saying Itemba. Think about those.
Well, welcome back. It's Soccer Africa 1000. It's a celebration where we're going down memory lane, looking forward to the future, but also having those progressive conversations that will certainly influence some change. Next to me is a man who needs no introduction. He's been telling the stories of African football, but one thing that makes me so excited is the fact that, Baba, you've been able to tell these stories in a language that people in the rural, people in the communities, African people get to understand.
Yes, to me it's very important to tell African football stories the way Africans want to see and hear the stories, especially in their preferred languages across the continent. And I think with a program like Soccer Africa, it has been very important that the message is sent across from east and west, north and south by this program. Remember, we've got over 1.2 billion Africans living on the continent and in the diaspora. So for that, they need to resonate and connect with Africa wherever they are. So us as football commentators, in the language that I use, which is a pure African language, it's important that we connect with other people. And now, Super Sport by itself, by going to places like Nigeria where they use Pidgin and other languages, it's so important that we mix the whole of the continent so that these stories can be told the African way by Africans for Africans.
Those African stories, you've been telling AFCON stories for a good 12 editions. We're going into number 13 now. Your favorite AFCON moment that you've commentated?
Look, yes, I've done 12 AFCONs, and I think my best of them all was here at home in 1996, I must say. Well organized, though it was a quick thing, because we were substituting Kenya, who could not host. So we were given the opportunity to host, and we won it. Very good. And at that time, that's when we realized that South Africans had fallen in love with football after the long isolation by FIFA and CAF. And now, also my best was also in 2019 when we beat Egypt, in Egypt, and in the last 16, and that was one of the best. And also, Go back to when Cameroon won it for the 4th time. It was back to back. And I think Egypt also, when they won it the 7th time in Angola, that was something that was massive for me to have witnessed it and been part of it.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? He's a walking encyclopedia. It's not just him, though, but we also get to do it in Portuguese. Ali is also with us, and we get to hear these stories. We get to tell them not just within Sesotho.
Yes.
And you, Ali, let me know then, how important has it been to bring in the Portuguese?
It's been massive. We know that the Portuguese audience in Africa has grown a lot. Supersport has played a huge role in that, and we're happy to see those numbers increase, albeit all the piracy that we still have to fight against.
Do you know what? One thing that's exciting is the fact that when I spoke about you, I was looking around, which is what many people in the arena have been doing. Because they know the voice, they don't know the face. And this is what Soccer Africa does. It exposes you to the rest of Africa. So a lot of people are seeing you for the very first time.
Not really. Actually...
the 2000s.
Yes. So at Massimo, we had a magazine show, a weekly magazine show that ran for 15 years. It ended in 2022, after we have reached like 600 shows. So we were close to 1,000 as well, but we didn't get there. So my face has been there for the Portuguese audience. It's a face that they can relate to, and the voice through the commentary we do on all the matches, and not only soccer, but mainly soccer on our channels.
Oh man, it becomes really, really exciting. Us celebrating 30 years of telling you those organic stories from the African continent. You get to see the faces, you get to hear the voices, you get to connect with the pizza or with the people. Thomas, what is happening that side?
Happening this side, and we just want to thank the sitting presidents that have made their way to Soccer Africa today, and former presidents as well. Andrew Kamanga, former president of the Football Association of Zambia. Kalusha Bwalia, former president of the Football Association of Zambia. They're part of our audience today. Dr. Danny Odan, the SAFA president. And then in studio right now, I've got the Zimbabwe Football Association current and new president, Mobile Magwizi. Welcome to the show, Mr. President. How are you?
Thank you, Thomas. I'm happy to be here.
Good. I hope you're going to be smiling by the end of the conversation. This is still South Africa. You know, we
might be celebrating, but I'm happy to be here, and I hope to be smiling by the end of this.
Well, the one thing to smile about, Mr. President, is that you qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. In 2 months' time, Zimbabwe's will be at the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco.
Yes, we will be in Morocco, and of course we are preparing to give our best foot forward come December. And yes, there's a number of things that we are looking at as a new administration to ensure that we have a solid team, a solid technical team to help the boys to give us a respectable result.
Some people, Mr. President, will go, well, we hear you, but you fired your coach with 2 months to go to the Africa Cup of Nations, and that doesn't speak to solid technical team going into the Africa Cup of Nations.
Well, you know, with football, it's a very volatile place. Liverpool last year won the EPL, but right now I think the supporters are not happy because the coach has not done very well in the first few matches. Now, that's what happens in football. You have to be measured by the results that are coming in.
What was wrong with Michael Neese?
We are grateful to
was your coach.
No. We are grateful to his contribution. Yeah. We're grateful to his contribution. He was committed, and he showed a lot of enthusiasm to getting Zimbabwe ahead, and we respect the contribution that he put to Zimbabwe. And of course, the results did not come. And at the end of the day, as leadership, I think it's always important to separate the two. There is the personal relationship that you enjoy as a team, as you work together, but there's also the aspect where the results need to come, and it's not personal.
You guys are all sitting. The president is here.
What I want to ask, you almost spoiled the party for Bafana. When they say that the game will be in Durban, all the South Africans were celebrating, including even our producer. No, this will be a walkover. It's a home game. And you surprise them, not by almost beating them.
Yeah, we thought we were going to win that match. We wanted the match. Yes. We
World
wanted,
Cup qualifier, Bafana want to go to the World Cup, and you were wanting to win.
We were playing a football match, and I think it was important for us to stand our ground and demonstrate our commitment. For South Africa to demonstrate its prowess, if South Africa had, they of course have won and they're going to the World Cup, they've deserved it. They showed the tenacity to be able to withstand in that match and be able to get a draw. Of course, we were looking to win.
We were cheering you. Nigeria, you were our best team in qualifying.
In fact, when we chose to go to Durban, a lot of our Nigerian friends were very upset with Zimbabwe. Say, are you selling the match now? So no, we don't do that.
We're going to President, if I may quickly ask, the AFCON is 5 weeks from now.
Yes.
How soon will Zimbabwe appoint a coach before going to the AFCON?
I think the process of appointing a coach is at an advanced stage. I think by Monday, next week, Tuesday, we should be in a place to make an announcement.
Give us a hint. Let's say, don't call the coach. Just say 1, 2, 3.
No.
Shortlist.
Actually, the technical committee is in the process of doing the shortlist.
You are shortlisting now. When work?
They are working right now. They are working, my brother. Listen,
we are asking, don't make the mistakes others have made.
Yes.
Said Nigeria. Why you say Nigeria? You are the one firing coaches, bringing coaches. I hope you have good advisors, because this thing is a jungle. Because if you don't go, if you don't do it, they fire you too.
Absolutely.
That's how this is.
Absolutely, that's how it works. Okay. But I think I'm confident to say that come next week, we will be able to announce the next coach that will be coming to lead our boys.
Mr. President, the question that the South Africans need an answer to is, it's a 0-0 draw in Durban, South Africa and Zimbabwe, and at the end of the match, Zimbabwe celebrate. Why?
I was seated with Danny on that day, and I was said that we're not won.
Yes.
And so on the field celebrations.
I didn't get a chance to inquire of the people, but I was concerned that we had not won the match, because I told the coach that we must win this match. It was one of his key result areas. So I was disappointed. So maybe if he had given me a chance, I could have asked the people who were celebrating why they were celebrating. I was disappointed.
I think he's just dribbled me there, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Lwazi, what's happening there on the other side of the set?
Thank you very much once again, Thomas. Wonderful to hear as well from the president of Zimbabwean football. But unfortunately, it is that time of the show and the evening where we do have to say goodbye. And again, I have to tell you that it has been such a wonderful time to be alongside these three, Mark Leeson, Asha Komogisha, as well as Jeff Katala. You have an opportunity to not only read, but also hear from them throughout the course and throughout the African continent as well when it pertains to football. So then, from us here on this side of the studio, we one last time this evening hand over to Itumeleng Banda.
Man, Lozzie, one thing that I can tell you, it's celebration. The family that came through, you have been absolutely amazing. Can we have some noise for 1,000 episodes? And thank you so much to you at home for being part of it, for supporting those African stories, being a part of the conversations week in, week out. We can't forget the three wise men. We can't even forget also the wise queen when it comes to African football. But from myself, Itumeleng Banda, it's been absolutely amazing, and we have given you an invite, Africa. We want you to come down to the Toyota Stadium the 6th of
June. To every single one of you that enjoyed the show out in the other set in the arena right here on the World of Champions. Very quickly, guys, now's our opportunity to say goodbye to Africa. And I know I said we wanted to give away our awards. We're not going to have time. We're going to have to do that maybe next week on the show, right? We might create a little bit of a special time. We just had too many good conversations. But, Mamadou, I didn't get a chance to find out from you your greatest African moment, a moment you'll never ever forget, and you've got a very short time to give that to me. What is that?
You nicknamed me the assassin of...
That's your greatest moment?
No, it's part of it.
Yeah?
Then I nicknamed Nigeria the Super Chicken. Here I land in Lagos. I give my passport to immigration officer. He look at it, Mamaduga, he say, you stand that side. You're not passing.
Because of Super Chicken.
So he say, you are the one who call us Super Chicken. What are you coming to do in Nigeria here? Go and stand that side. Leave here, next to the queue. Come. Next to the queue.
Suresh, 24 years of African football, what stands out for you?
Thomas, for me, I might be a bit biased. You know, African football was always dominated by North African and West Africa. 95-96, South Africa announces their return. 95, Paris win the Champions League. 96, AFCON. South Africa are now a superpower in African football. Done deal.
Done and dusted.
Yep.
Ashley.
Oh, so many moments. But before I came on to sit with you guys on the panel here, I used to be a big fan of the show. By that time, Nwazi was the presenter, and I used to call in every other Thursday whilst I was busy waitressing. I'd run to the kitchen, do the call, watch the show quickly, come back and wait my table.
Waitressing.
I was literally waitressing and listening to the show.
Wow.
And it was such an important time of my life because I learned so much from Bertike, Mamadu, Coach Sudesh, Pastor Ida. Sometimes you'd have Ponga here. So many moments, and even more so now that I've been here, having to see so many tournaments happen. The CAF Women's Champions League happen. Mamelodi Sundowns win it. Manena winning the WAFCON. Super Eagles retaining it, Zambia going to the Olympics, so many moments in football.
But the one that stands out?
The one that stands 2012, Zambia winning the AFCON, and I'm so happy that Kennedy Mwene is also here
He's
today.
outside.
Because he was the goalkeeper when we won it, even though Mamadi wanted to discredit it and say they gave it to us. That was the most important one.
Zambia
That was the most important.
Cote d'Ivoire in the
Literally,
final.
there's nothing better than that.
Penalty shootout.
There's nothing better.
They were beaten. And he said that those spirits, when he was running, two spirits were running.
Nothing will ever discredit 2012. That African of Nation is still the best.
To revive those spirits.
We needed to give respect to people who died for the game.
Guys,
No
I need to
way.
stop
That
you.
is still the best one.
Kennedy Mwini, thank you for making your way to the show. I know you were up in the stands there with the dignitaries. And, he even took a penalty. You took a penalty in the penalty shootout. Penalty number 5. Not just the number 5. The last penalty, he took that one there and it went to sudden death. And he was just like, it was unbelievable what he did there to Kennedy Mwini. And right next to him is his teammate as well, Dennis Onyango. We appreciate you making your way to the show as well. Your moment.
When Hayatu was removed.
Wow.
We had wanted Hayatu out for a long time. African football was going down. That election, Africa celebrated. We were celebrating. Where's the guy from Mauritius?
Ahmad.
We didn't care who was there. We wanted Hayatu. For me, it was classic, that election.
Now, I'm going to have to say goodbye, and I'm going to ask one of our assistant producers here, Junju, to join me on the show because we have to thank the man who began the process. And that jersey that was being spoken about with Dr. Danny O'Don, you left it in studio, and we pretended like we didn't know where it was because we wanted it to be framed for you. DK, your contribution to the game, and you deserve this. It's Brazilian, I guess. We're not happy that it's Brazilian, but what can we do? Tomaso, the famous Tomaso jersey, even with the tomato sauce on it, it's been framed, it's yours, and now will be a memory forever, TK.
Thank you
and
so
Africa, thanks you for the vision and the show and the last 1,000 shows and the fact that you really have not missed a single episode. Everyone else kind of comes and goes, but you've been steady.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, TK. Put that on the floor, don't drop it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And you know what? Before I go, I just want to show you this, right? So I brought this with me, and I was like, at the time, TK, I don't know if you remember this.
Wow.
When we brought this shirt out, this was a special edition Soccer Africa shirt. And we thought, no one will ever get past this. And even we need the shirt because it might be the last year of the show, It's been on air so long. Let me show you what it is on the back. It was the 10th anniversary show.
14 years
And we
ago.
made a shirt that was special for everything.
I still have mine.
I have this. This is what I pulled out of the cupboard.
I need to get that one from you.
And I was like, right, guys,
frame it.
we not only did 10 years, we did 20 years. We're at 24 years.
Wow.
And 1,000 shows. And that's all because of you, Africa. We appreciate you. Today was a special celebration. We will continue to do it, I think, and it looks like until we just can't anymore. Until the drip is in the arm and they say, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much to the Assassin of Abidjan. Your contribution, as usual, stellar. Thank you very much to Coach Sudesh. Absolutely powerful in terms of your knowledge that you bring to the show. The Wise Queen, we love your passion, and you give us the insights into a brand new world of women's football. Tita Peterside.
And I flew in yesterday for the show.
You did fly down from Nigeria to be with us. We appreciate your presence, and TK, as usual, respect. Africa, this has been our celebration. This has been 1,000
But we've
shows.
not had an opportunity to talk about the presenters.
No,
Let's
all presenters. Tabi Sotema, Lwazi, me.
Look at you now.
Lots of people. We can thank so many. But mainly we're thanking you, and thank you to Supersport for giving us the opportunity to celebrate with you today. We'll be back next week. Soccer Africa. It's been 1,000.